What is up, everyone? I am Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tool Supra.
Comes back. He's gonna send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're gonna. Joshua Banks is gonna win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of M&J Distributors, for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to VSPEED and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, you know, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, you know, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on Saturday.
Start your engines! And for the first time this season, the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, Shadow gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League. First of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix. But the 73 of Joseph McWhorter is going to be your season 2 champion. Here he comes, off of turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway.
Banks takes him 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Look at this, 3 wide again. The top 3 still 3 wide for the lead. Banks on the inside, right in the middle, Kevin to the outside.
I can't believe what I'm watching right now.
Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind. This is my prime. Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind.
Pull those belts tight. You're watching Saturday Night Racing League, only on VSPEED.
It's another week here from Saturday Night Racing League and week number 11 of the regular season. We're in Loudon. Tonight, the New England states, New Hampshire. It's a little bit of a short track hybrid, flat and a bigger Martinsville as we go flag to flag coverage here on VSPEED. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Saturday Night Racing League has put on a phenomenal show this weekend. Let's see if we can pick up right where we left off with the Challenger Series, a race that got turned upside down on its head at Iowa. Now on to the Cup Series. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside filling in for Connor Horn. We have Logan Threlkeld for the co-commentary. And Logan, I know kind of a bummer there with the damage in the race at Iowa, but you're going to bring the heat here tonight. I know you're excited for what these guys have in store for us here. This is a track that you look over the history and NASCAR in general. This next gen cup car is going to be difficult, to say the least, to get around here.
It most certainly will, Bradley. This is always a track that tends to put on a fantastic race. Right there on your screen, Loudon, New Hampshire, 1 mile in length. And it's just that big old oval. Only 2 to 7 degrees of banking all the way around this track, so it's very, very flat, just like you mentioned. It's going to be an extra challenge on these drivers to keep the tires at bay. You don't want to get them overheated. It's going to be a mixture of different lines utilized here tonight. I know the trucks really like to hug that white line all the way across the bottom. So it'll be very interesting to see how these drivers take these next-gen cars around this track, if they have anything that's comparable to what you would see in a truck race here.
And don't be surprised to see some drivers try the apron. We've seen it here in the past in Saturday Night Racing League. Bailey Turner definitely circled this one on his calendar. We talked about the points, the 4 wins that Bailey Turner wrapped up really quickly there at the beginning of the season, the first half of the regular season with 4 wins. And then you have Michael Sturgill, Jeff Wright, Donald Kite. There are so many guys in here. Adam Cabot also included in that list, and we have another driver just below that 20 driver cut line with a victory as well. There are so many people in here that are hungry for their first win in SNR history, or just their first one overall ever in this season.
Yeah, big wins here. You know, the point standings as they are right now, Bailey Turner really has that number 1 spot kind of locked down. A 5th win on the season would be fantastic. But as we're getting ready to go through our grid, that number 12 spot of Adam Cabot took home the pole here tonight. So he's going to be looking to make it stay up here in the number 17 car all night long and collect his 2nd win of the season. But a lot of very, very tough competitive drivers here that are going to be starting all the way in the top 15. So it's going to be a lot of driving out here tonight.
And don't be surprised to hear that Bailey Turner is going to start right next to him. We look at our race analysis for tonight. 151 laps here today at New Hampshire and 45 miles per hour on that pit road. It spans the entirety of this front straightaway. 4 tire sets available. They will be at a premium here tonight. Drivers are going to chew through these things rather quickly. Don't be surprised to see 2 tire stops. 2 tire calls can work here at New Hampshire. 3 green-white checkers with 80% fuel. And of course, we're all on that iRacing fixed setup. With that, though, it's time to go trackside. Get the grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole here today, as you said there, Adam Cabot with a 31.445. It's a 100th of a second ahead of Bailey Turner for the front row. 17 and 24. Still doing that measuring contest that we talked to last week, and these guys went back and forth quite a lot there just a week ago. Starting on row number 2 will be Jeff Wright, Kenny Kibbe in the number 14. He'll start in 4th position. Michael Sturgill works his way up into the top 10, or top 3 rather, in points. He'll start in the 5th position. Reggie Ortega in the 6th spot. 7th goes to Chad Klinger with Ryan Carwile in 8th. And rounding out your top 10 here tonight with 35 plus cars, Joshua Banks back on the racetrack. Donnie Kite in 10th.
Coming in just behind the top 10, it's the Challenger Series standout, the 57 of Dakota Floyd, starting out in 11th next to the 6 of Josh Adams. 13th will be the 73 of Joseph McWhorter next to the 06 of Nick Papiak in 14th. Caleb Weekly in the 13 will start out in 15th next to the 54 of Bryce Shoemaker. 17th goes to Elliott Butler in the 16 next to the 60 of Stephen Davis. Rounding out the top 20, it's Mike Sturgill in the 53, next to the 93 of Rob Denton.
Brandon Wallace and Julio Villalobos Jr. will start 21st, 22nd. 23rd goes to AJ Shervado. These drivers electing not to take a time. We have over half the field not taking qualifying here tonight. J.R. Shepard and Brian Chambliss, 25th and 26th. 27th goes to Max Koss. Matt Shanowski with the top 3 there at Iowa. He'll start in 28th position. In the top 30, Philip Brewer in the 44. Broderick Vaclavic will start in 30th.
And the rest of the field goes as follows. The 51 of Christopher Hodges next to the 86 of John Sanu. Benjamin Richards in the 56 next to the 89 of Austin Belke as the green flag is waving. Nick Wood and Keith Shoemaker will be the last 2 drivers in the field.
Green flag out for week number 11 of the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. And already it's competitive here for the front spot.
Jeff Wright was able to kind of get away from some of that competition. The only driver right now that's not side by side with somebody inside the top 10. Now we're starting to single file out a little bit here as Adam Cabot gets away from the door, the 24. Bailey Turner slides in the second right where he started.
We saw a little bit of 3 wide there going into 3. Kenny Kibbe off the pace here. He's lost 5 spots already. He got shuffled out there on the outside. I don't know if there was contact that got him upset, but he is losing ground very fast. There's your 10th place in points coming into 10th place right now. Dakota Floyd inside of the 14 of Kenny Kibbe. This is just for the top 10 spots.
Kibbe in that 14. He sits 6th in points coming into tonight. This could be a game changer for the 14 if he can make his way a little bit further up the field. Collect some extra points here, make his way back up into the top 5. But up towards the front, it's Bailey Turner to the inside now of Adam Cabot. It's a run down the backstretch, door to door into turn number 3. Cabot's going to have the advantage here coming out of the corner, possibly. Looks like Turner gets a little bit of a run. 17 ultimately gets the nose back out in front, and another lap led for Cabot.
Tell you gotta look out here. Bailey Turner, this is the one. If we're gonna get 5 in this season, the 24 car, he gets around this place different than anybody else. He's done it in every single car when we ran the Gen 4 back in the day, all the way up to the B-Class car in both those seasons there. Cup Series action for the 24 has been phenomenal at this racetrack. He's gonna lead this time by 0.04 of a second. Down on the bottom on the flat part of the racetrack, at 7 degrees of banking, working for the 24.
For the moment, it is at least, as he narrowly gets to the front bumper. But that outside line just carries so much speed on corner exit. Shot down the backstretch here. You can see a couple cars getting into the wall out of turn number 2. And we've got a wreck towards the back of the pack. It looks like the 87.
Around goes the 87 of Broderick Vaclavic, and we're going to go back on our VSPEED instant replay, find out exactly what happened right out of turn 4. Got loose on his own.
Oh, ends up collecting the 99 of Brandon Wallace there a little bit. Could have been a whole lot worse. You had a couple cars there still behind. Everybody else able to get around. The 99 just nowhere to go. Back on board here with Brandon Wallace. On this exit of 2, keep your eye to the inside line. There's the loose and just nowhere for the 99. Try to navigate that.
And while we were riding on board there, Logan, I know you probably don't have audio with my feed, but these drivers are going to be playing shifting all the way through these corners. Who wants to go to 4th gear through these turns could dictate how they drive off. Now, if you can handle that and downshift to 4th gear, you can definitely power out of these corners. But if you're not experienced with it, it could be one of those things that you throw an audible at the end of this race, or, you know, one of those last-ditch efforts to try to make up positions. It could come back to haunt you, burn those tires out.
And you can also get a little bit of wheel hop doing that too. So you're playing that card of, you know, timing is what it's going to come down to. If you want to drop this next gen car down into fourth gear in the corner, you have to make sure that you're low enough on the RPM so you don't get the chatter from the rear tires and ultimately send that rear end around. But it can be done, and some of the drivers up here towards the front will most certainly be utilizing that. I know Jeff Wright, he's kind of mastered that craft of downshifting, especially here at New Hampshire. So keep an eye on that 48 to stay competitive as he's up here in the top 3. A couple other drivers to keep an eye on. Dakota Floyd has made his way up into the top 10 now. Joseph McWhorter has collected up 5 positions since the start of the race. Julio in the 45. Villalobos Jr. is up 6 positions so far. Took the 45 from 22nd to 16th. He's got a whole lot of more cars to get around here to improve that position, Bradley.
Quick work, though, for just 6 laps under green as we get set to go back under green. Bailey Turner, the top spot, will be the command car starting on the outside. Sad Boys drivers down there in the Discord. I was going to try to pull up Adam Cabot, ask him what happened. Lost that lead there in the first 5 laps, but he has a chance to get it back. So let's see if the driving can do the talking here for this next restart. Difficult to get it going. Let's see how long the run can go. Already, Cabot jumps out to the start, to the inside. I don't think that Bailey Turner was actually the command car. I was wrong on that. Very, very close there when that caution came out.
Abbott losing that.
Slight connection issue there with Logan Threlkeld, but we were continuing to run green on lap number 10, and Bailey Turner to the inside, outside, whatever you got to do to get around this 17 of Cabot. And Logan, I think I have you back now. It tends to come in waves. We got Michael Sturgill up to third now. Got around Jeff Wright. Chad Klinger is around.
That's towards the back of the pack for the 09. Not going to bring out a caution here as everybody else well clear. Take it back on the VSPEED instant replay. Find out what happened to the 09. Same exact thing that we just saw with the 87. Just loose off that bottom of turn number 2. Luckily, though, no overcorrection here this time. He'll keep it down on the bottom of the track. We stay under green flag conditions.
When we come back to those green flag conditions, it's side by side again for the lead. Turner down to the bottom. He's already led a lap here today.
Towards the middle of the pack.
McWhorter.
That's the 73 of Joseph McWhorter. There's another one wrapped up in it as well. I believe it's the 2.
This was completely separate from that, I think. Let's go back to the 73.
So McWhorter looks to the inside here into turn number 3. Just drives up a little bit too far up the track. Catches that left rear quarter panel of Reggie Ortega.
That was not separate. 73 definitely got into the 2 car there going into 3 and 4. Ortega is able to maintain. He gets looped back around, but if you look back here with McWhorter, he lost 3 or 4 spots from that. Back it up one more time from the blimp.
It's a risky move to try to send it into the inside with that much speed. You can see the closure rate for the 73. He had a couple mile an hour over Reggie. And there's that contact. Ortega just kept it right there in the middle line. McWhorter just sliding up the track just enough to catch that quarter panel.
That's all it takes here in these next-gen cars. Barely touch on the quarter panels. Sends these cars around. Ortega comes down to get some damage fixed. I think this is now the opportunity, though, that we pull up Adam Cabot.
I see no problem with that whatsoever.
Adam Cabot, Bradley Cooper, and Logan Threlkeld in the VSPEED booth. No Connor here tonight, but Adam, I gotta say, it's defense at its best. You got a teammate in there, the guy that you're competing with, you got direct contact and communication with him. What's it gonna take to best this 24 car tonight?
All I can tell you is hell must have frozen over, because I got the pole at New Hampshire and I'm currently leading at New Hampshire, which are two sentences I didn't think I'd ever say in my life. I consider this to be my worst track on iRacing. Bailey's really good here, so I'm just going to have to keep playing that defense and, you know, see what we can do in a long run here, if we can get a long run. But I think I'm overperforming tonight.
Well, so far, so good. I know we're on the backstretch, getting ready to go back green, but starting on the pole, you're holding on to it. What's the answer here?
The answer is just to really try to keep the rears under it, try to keep low heat in the tires. Otherwise, you'll be really paying for it in 10, 15 laps. The chaos is not even yet to begin.
All right, we still got a lot of racing left to be done. Adam Cabot, good luck.
Thank you.
And I know I pulled him up a little bit late there, but that was the number 17 car as the green flag comes back out. We're back underway for the third time here from Loudon. And a pass here on the inside. This is going to help Cabot. Let's get these guys back in second, competing for a spot as Sturgill goes to the inside of the 24 of Bailey Turner.
Sturgill looking to move up a spot on the podium here, but look at this. It's the 48 of Jeff Wright looking around the outside now. Way up on the track, nearly into the wall for the 48. Really trying to maximize that drive off the corner. He does lose that spot to Sturgill, nearly loses a spot here to Ryan Carwile in the 71, just to the inside right now.
We've talked about this quite a lot here, Logan, but there's cars all over this racetrack that have yet to get a win. We're coming up on our post-season reset. Wins are so important, and if you let the 24 figure out a way to victory lane again, it's going to be a rather difficult, as we have another caution.
It's another one
Nick
in
Wood.
Back here in turn number 3, a couple cars turned sideways this time. Didn't quite catch all the numbers on this one, but I'm counting 4 or 5 cars got mixed up.
Nick Wood and Rob Denton, the first cars. I think Mike Sturgill also involved. Back on our VSPEED instant replay and take a look at it. That happened out ahead. Ortega, hard hit to the wall.
Hard hit to the wall for Ortega, the 93 of Denton, and then it was the 27 of Nick Wood. Just couldn't quite get it back down to the bottom of the track to avoid the 93. It's kind of looking very similar to what we just saw with McWhorter and Ortega themselves. Ortega tried to send it down to the inside line.
Slides
Rear end got loose, though.
Yeah, with the McWhorter, it was more of a front end push, and here with the 2, it back end kicks out, slides up the racetrack, trying to catch it across the nose of the 93, and it's going to probably kind of end the day for Reggie Ortega and the 27, a few others involved in that. A lot of damage being repaired here, and I know if you're Adam Cabot, you've played enough defense to keep the 24 at bay in the early run. That time, not as much of a factor because of that restart. You saw the 3 and the 48 and everybody kind of contending one another in the mirror. This helps Adam Cabot save his stuff and run this thing out as long as he can. You can't really measure it here, Logan, for how important it is for these guys behind you to start racing one another.
I mean, if you're in the shoes of Adam Cabot or even Bailey Turner, you know, starting on the front rows, that's exactly what you want to see in the rearview mirror. Get these guys battling behind you, make them utilize, you know, the different racing lines here, and ultimately that will chew up the tires quite a bit more. You don't ever really want to use the term cruise control, but whenever you see that in the rearview mirror, that's essentially what you can put your car on for a few laps and just try to save your tires as much as possible and fuel even.
And fuel becoming a strategy. It was a factor last week. It's a factor this week. Drivers coming across the start-finish line, almost running out. And you've got Caleb Weekly, Michael Sturgill, Joshua Banks back on there, and Rob Denton, RSR Driver Cam. Oh, there he is right there. As we go back green. Oh, no, we just got a peace sign. So I didn't quite get Rob Denton in there. But he said he's had enough. Green flag back underway.
And another big jump for Adam Cabot. Being in control of these restarts, really playing to his advantages. He was immediately able to slide up back in front of the 24 of Turner. And look at these two run away from the rest of the field.
Looking to the inside right now, Ryan Carwile for the 4th position. He'll get the drive off, stay to the inside, gets a little bit loose. Jeff Wright back up to 4th spot, back and forth. It's a lot of side-by-side. Nick Hapiak in the 06. This is for 8th position. Julio Villalobos to the inside, down on the bottom in 1 and 2. On board now with a 45.
Oh, and big time sideways for the 48. That's Jeff Wright. He does save it. However, that's going to be from a top 5 position all the way towards the back half of the field.
I created a 3-wide situation that I was looking at on board with the 45 car, but there's this sideways coming out of 2. Holds on to it.
I don't think he had any assistance there from the 71. He was to the inside, but maybe just barely got into him to help finish off the 48.
Oh, car around. That's a
again,
13 a weekly.
13. Turn 2 is a menace right now. You can see the frustration, the pounding of the steering wheel from Caleb Weekly on that RSR Driver Cam. Back here on the VSPEED instant replay. Into turn 1. Weekly battling here, stuck on the outside of Stephen Davis. Oh, and a little bit of assistance there from the 35 of Banks in his first race back in a couple weeks.
Try to look at this from the blimp camera. You see the 35 get to the inside. And right here, the contact. Weekly gets a little bit loose in Banks' defense. Banks ends up getting shoved 3 wide here. Let's go on board here with Joshua Banks.
See the 13 of Weekly struggling to keep it on that pressure strip of asphalt. A little bit better grip there and start to get out to the outside line of that asphalt patch. That rear right tire starts to slide out, collects it back up, but just not enough time for the 35 of Banks to make his way back around. Just a little bit of help there.
Well, it's another opportunity to bring a driver up here. We're going to talk to Hutton Motorsports driver Joshua Banks. Banks, you got a copy?
I got you, brother.
Well, Josh, little hiatus there. Where you been, buddy?
Oh, just busy living life. We've moved
Living
houses.
life. Yeah, it looks like you built a whole new house there. You got white walls, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we got a new room now, and it's upstairs, so we get the true experience of a race car driver, where heat is a factor now.
Yeah, heat is a factor. Well, you know what? As far as heat goes, you're a little bit rusty, I feel like. Is that kind of factoring into the pressure here tonight?
Oh, for sure. I haven't sat in the rig in probably 4 or 5 weeks straight, so we're coming into this race probably one of the toughest tracks with this car tonight with the setup. It is on edge all the way around, so we're jumping in at a great time. Great time.
Well, I tell you what, congratulations on the move. Glad everything went safe, everything went well. Maybe we'll get to talk to you post-race here in just a moment. Good luck, man.
We're going to try. I don't want to make any bets, but we're going to do our best.
Motorsports driver Joshua Banks going to restart here in 15th. Good luck.
Thank you, bud.
You're going to pull the next one, Logan. I tell you what, man, there's a lot of people in here that are hungry for a victory, hungry to put this thing on the podium at the very least. We're running out of regular season races, and we're running out of laps, but 125 to go at that line. And a great restart here for Adam Cabot. He's going to continue to hold on to that lead.
That's been the story all night for the 17. These restarts are going to be extra important here.
Oh, boy.
Ooh, nearly contact all over the back bumper from Bailey Turner. Got real close, but nothing done of it. Cabot will retain that number 1 position. Turner in tow. Sturgill gets ahead of Adams by quite a ways here.
Watching
further back in the pack, we're looking at the 54 of Bryce Shoemaker.
Yeah, I'm watching back here deeper in this field. This is for 10th.
Oh, right
35
behind.
around.
Oh, and the stack up there as well. Like, I believe the 89 there just ahead. Austin Belkey collected a big bump from the back bumper. At this rate, Bradley, I don't know if we're going to finish this race with any non-damaged race cars.
Let's get back here on this replay. We saw that off the turn 2, a strange chain reaction. 86 gets loose. That's Johnson knew. Man, that stack up there with the 53. Nowhere to go. Let's go on board with Mike Sturgill.
Sturgill with a little bit of assistance as well here in this stack up. He had one more right behind. Here it is. You see all the smoke. He's trying to slow down. There's that extra bump for Sturgill. Just sends him right into the back bumper of Belkey there. A couple race cars collecting damage that didn't quite need to happen.
I'm going to look at it one more time here with the 35 of Banks from the blimp camera. There's Sanu. Sanu got loose on the outside. That's really all there is to it. A big checkup, clogs up. Belkey gets hit in the back. 53 as well. Brings out our 5th caution already here in the first 29 laps.
Couple cautions in the early goings of this race. You know, as time will tell, we'll likely see that green flag run pop up here eventually and see what Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner can do on a long run. Right now it seems about 5 laps, 6 laps maybe have been our longest green flag run so far. No real true test being put on our 2 front runners just yet. Michael Sturgill will retain that 3rd spot. Dakota Floyd's currently sitting in 4th. Up 7 spots for him. J.R. Shepard, though, take a look at the 98. Up 16 positions on the night. Started all the way back in 23rd. He's made his way to a top 10, sitting in 7th on this restart. Bill Labos Jr. right there with him, side by side. Our 2 biggest movers of the race so far.
Those drivers competing for the Clark Print Shop Biggest Mover of the Race Award. We have all those RSR Driver Cams, and I know that here tonight it's dwindled down very quickly. We started out with 5 drivers in the RSR Driver Cams. It's down to 3 now. With Caleb Weekly, Michael Sturgill, and Joshua Banks. But it's back to the same for Cabot and Turner. Green flag 6th time today. And Cabot just mastering these restarts into turn 1.
I love how aggressive Cabot is to get back up to that top lane before turn 1 and really try to focus on that first entry, put some separation now between the 17 and the 24 down the back stretch, but it looks like Turner going to send it in just a little bit deeper here. Caleb Weekly now. He's got the 6 to the outside. There's Jeff Wright on the outside here as well, just behind the 31 of Shinosky. trying to claw his way back up into a top 10 position here. To the inside goes the 48. Can he find the grip to get around the 31?
Oh, Weekly's
Oh,
around.
sideways for Weekly.
And a dodge down to the bottom there for, I believe, 4 or 5 different cars. Jeff Wright went all the way down to the grass almost as they go 3 wide. Banks in the middle, and Jeff Wright's got damage on the right front.
Could have swore there's another car that ended up getting spun around back there, but back here on the VSPEED instant replay, right as we were watching the 48 here, there's the 13 getting loose, collects the 26, but 54, 31. Ooh, Jeff Wright catches some air trying to dodge that in the backstretch as well.
So we can find a different angle of it here.
Contrary to popular belief, we are not running the road course configuration tonight. The 48 did a fantastic job of avoiding that one.
They did park it on pit road here.
He is on his way back out, and there's another yellow now on the field. I'm not positive where this one came from. Looking back here, the 99 of Brandon Wallace. He gets loose. There it is. Loose off of 2. The exit of 2 claims yet another one. The 99 goes around, hits the outside wall. A couple drivers able to avoid it. Single car incident here. It's the first one of those that we've seen tonight.
Been a strange series of events. In the first 35 laps, 6 cautions, 2 lead changes, and a little fake down pit road there for Bailey Turner. But some of these guys in the back of the field, not much to lose. Why not come down pit road? If you're Brian Chambliss and a few others, we're going to bring it down, top it off with fuel at the very least. Why not? You have a lot of cars behind that. Jeff Wright coming in. There's the 60 of Stephon Davis and 35 of Banks, 09 of Klinger, Oki, Weekly, and a few coming down. I don't think it's 4-tire territory just yet on the race recap, but some of these guys are taking tires. We'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on VSPEED. You are watching the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. The Cup Series live action on VSPEED will continue right after this.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog. Place your order today.
And back here live from New Hampshire, just after the restart, Adam Cabot with another great launch here over the 24, Bailey Turner. A little bit of a stack up there on that restart. The inside line got backed up, had a little bit of three-wide action going into turn number 1. We've sorted it all out now as our top, looks like 6, 7, 8, 10 cars or so have single filed out. Cabot now able to put down some hot laps here. Let's see how long this green flag run can go. Nearly a half second over Bailey Turner right now, still running in second.
And for Bailey Turner, this race needs to go green. Every restart that we have, he's been contested. He's having to overdrive that car. You know that the 17 is not going to count this down for him. You see some other guys that are starting to benefit from these restarts. We're talking about positions gained. J.R. Shepherd continues to chip away at this top 10, and he is now up 17 positions as he works towards Dakota Floyd in that 5th spot. Behind him there with Josh Adams and Kenny Kibbe side by side going into 3 and 4.
With that last caution there, we finally have a switch up in the strategies here. We have about 8 cars that elected to stay out on the track to retain their position. Everybody else behind them brought it down for either a top off of fuel or tires, some damage repair mixed out throughout the field. So there's a whole lot of fresh tire race cars now just outside of the top 10 looking to make their way up. We'll see how well the 17 of Cabot, 24 Bailey Turner, 3 of Sturgill, all those other drivers that elected to stay out here, if they can keep these drivers behind, once those tires come up to temperature, it's going to be extremely hard.
We're riding around here with Josh Adams in the 7th position, just got clear of Julio Villalobos. Kenny Kibbe going to try to follow suit, but a shout out there to Juicy Spider yet again. We talked about them, what they do with the introductions. Find those links down in the description below and try to contact them if you like our intro for Saturday Night Racing League or the intro for VSPEED. Find your own there at Juicy Spider on X. Kibbe looking good. Down 4 though on the Proud. Going back on offense, you have the 06 of Happy Act. This top 10 starting to change hands. Carlos, that's Julio Villalobos.
45 collects it, but he does lose that position. Now a little bit of connection issues coming out of Julio. Got the 60 of Stephen Davis right there, ready to pounce as soon as that door opens. We see the 45 continue to make mistakes here, just outside of the top 10 now, running in the 11th position. Max Cost was the one that got around, so Cost up into the top 10. But it looks like Julio Villalobos Jr. has collected it back up now. See how long he can keep that car under control.
And a new number font here on the 63. Shout out to Max Cost, looking good, at least in the medium to short run segment. He came down just about 32 laps ago. And if you look through this top 10 here, Logan, a lot of drivers with 45 laps or more on this stint. They have stuck to their strategy and their numbers. No reason to change it up just yet if you're running 7th on up.
And this might end up hurting them here, as this is already shaping up to be the longest green flag run that we've seen here tonight. So that's going to be very impactful for some of those drivers up there. You know, it's our 1 through 6 positions are on the old tires here. You've got Kenny Kibbe a little bit further back in 8th, and then Julio Villalobos Jr., who's fallen out of the top 10. Those are our drivers who elected to stay out, not taking those tires. So keep an eye on them, and the other drivers that work their way around. Those 8 will be about a half second or better of fall off here. Already just under the 50 lap mark.
Watching a battle for, I believe that's the 6th position, as Josh Adams was trying to get around J.R. Shepherd. we're talking about almost 20, 30 laps here in between under green on these tires. And the 6, even with that advantage, not able to get around Kenny Kibbe. Last time he was in the pit box 19 laps ago, the 6 took 4 fresh tires. And Shepard not able to, or was able to defend that off from Adams. Kibbe just behind that.
You know, whenever you have a good majority of your first tire laps being ran under yellow, it certainly extends the lifetime of these tires, and that is certainly what's helping out the 98 right now, who's collected 17 positions at this point. Looking very, very strong for the biggest mover award here tonight. But it's not going to be easy as Josh Adams still all over the back bumper, just waiting for a moment to take advantage of a line inside. So it looks like we've got some action here. Can't quite tell who that was. Looking to the inside, but back up to the front now, on board with Bailey Turner, still running in that second position, trying to play catch up here with Adam Cabot.
He's catching him last time by 2/10 faster. I think it was just a matter of how long do I want to save my tires and how long do you want to compete with these other drivers around you. Every restart, I was saying earlier, Logan, he's had to compete. Bailey Turner has had to compete for a position on every single one of these restarts. He hasn't been able to run his own line. So you get this car with nothing to the left or right of it. Now he can channel that energy somewhere else, and it's going to be towards the 17. I don't know exactly how communications go for teammates that are running 1-2 within a tenth of each other, but you gotta know the head games that teammates can play with one another. I think Turner is just kind of keeping the pressure on Cabot to not make a mistake. He's not going to try to mess his race up, but he will be in that mirror all the way to lap 151.
You know, the smart thing to do here as teammates is obviously you want to challenge each other, make each other a better driver here as you separate away from the rest of the field. A little bit further back, it's the 9 of Brian Chambliss. He's sideways on the inside here. Just before that pit road entrance got loose in turn number 3. Take it back on the VSPEED instant replay. Running right behind, I believe that's the 16. There it is. That rear end just steps out. Did a great job keeping it away from the other drivers, but he's going to sacrifice a lot of positioning here. That was in 17th when that happened. Now the 9's going to fall all the way back to 24th. It's going to pose a massive challenge here for Chambliss if he wants to work his way back through the field after taking those fresh tires, already putting some excess heat down on the track. But back to the Bailey Turner and the Adam Cabot discussion. You know, you got to challenge each other, but you don't want to overdrive each other. You overdrive your teammate, that's just going to hurt you in the long run, obviously. But if you challenge each other and really just try to turn your fastest laps together, separate away from the rest of the field, as we are now under a good green flag run.
And to kind of double down on what you said, you don't want to push your teammate, get side by side, and fight for that lead for too long, because you've got Ryan Carlisle back here keeping these two honest. 9/10 of a second back from the lead, about half a second back from Bailey Turner. So if these two were to get side by side, if Turner maybe overdrives his tires, Carlisle could very easily reel both of these guys in. Got to kind of factor that into your strategy. How long do you want to push this run? Well, it's under 100 to go here in race number 11. Turner trying to add the 5th one. Cabot trying to add the 2nd.
You know, it's quite incredible. Adam Cabot, known for his dominating efforts on the concrete surfaces. Doing a great job here at this 1 mile asphalt track. 17 leading nearly all of the laps so far. It's got to be closing in. There it is, 54 laps. Only 2 not under control of the 17. Those did go to Bailey Turner. And another yellow flag out on the track, I believe somewhere in turn number 3 this time. It's the 86, John Sanu, sideways here.
He's going to lose a lap.
Man, oh man, that was all the way back in turn number 2 there. Not sure. Looks like the 86 just didn't quite get it going back in time to stay ahead of Adam Cabot. Back here on the VSPEED instant replay once more. Into turn 1 goes the 86 all by himself here. It's going to be exactly what we've seen multiple times already. That rear end just starts to step out on that low line in turn number 2. Sends it backwards. Had one more car to go, otherwise that green flag probably stays out with how low he was on the track.
And it's this car. I mean, we can genuinely say that, Logan. It is so difficult. You race in both the Contender or the Challenger and the Cup Series. How difficult it is to go from one to the other, or even if you're not experienced in general with this Cup car, it is a totally different animal.
John Sanu goes for the switch back out to the track, so he wants that lap back immediately. Now, that is very, very challenging out here. You know, these next-gen cars drive nothing like what the Xfinity cars do. With the Xfinity cars, you get quite a bit of feedback from, you know, just your overall awareness of the car. But these next-gens got that independent rear suspension that really just doesn't help. You can't quite tell when that rear end is sliding. And once you do finally figure it out, it's nearly too late.
Like maybe some 2-tire calls on the strategy. Josh Adams going to come out ahead of Nick Hapiak, who also pulled a strategy. Order pit stops here for the 06 and the 6 ahead of Adam Cabot for this restart. Wave arounds coming up. We're driving to continue here from New Hampshire. You are watching Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. We're going to take another brief break here on VSPEED. More coverage will continue of the Cup Series right after this.
Start your engines!
And for the first time this season, the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, Adam gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger, all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League. First of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix. But the 73 of Joseph McWhorter is going to be your season 2 champion. Here he comes off of turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway.
Banks takes the 3-wide down the back.
Back here live once more for lap 62. Adam Cabot started on the second row here for this restart. Josh Adams, Nick Hapiak unable to maintain after taking 2 tires from that pit cycle here. Back here on the VSPEED instant replay, but we do have a yellow on the track now, but you can see just how much more speed that 17 had on that restart. The 6 of Adams unable to get it up and going just enough. The 06 of Happyack stuck up on the outside. Right here is whenever Adam Cabot brings it back down to the inside. Back to live action under yellow flag once more. I believe it was the 87, maybe the 98. Couldn't quite tell who was going around in circles, bringing out this caution.
Get up here on our VSPEED instant replay. This is just behind the top 5. 98, sideways, hard into the wall. 14 at Kibbe also involved.
And that was a big hit to Kibbe as well. Man, he had no time to react to that whatsoever.
This is out of 2. We're going into 3 and 4 where this contact happens, and I think Dakota Floyd might have slid up. Yes.
Even gets Joshua Banks in the mix a little bit too, but luckily that's just going to be damage to the tires for the 35. Not a big hit. Enough to send him sideways down into the grass.
57 definitely slides up there. And like I said, Kibbe, Banks, just innocent bystanders of this whole battle, end up getting tagged and sent to the grass. We're trying our best here. Connor, yes, it's making up for the lack of yellows at Rockingham, I believe. And Joseph McWhorter said his computer crashed entirely.
That is not what you want to hear. I'm 90% certain that's a brand new rig for Joseph McWhorter. First race being on it here on Saturday nights, and that's not ideal. I understand the struggles, however.
It's time to clear out that search history here on lap 65. Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner, still the front row. These two have been bookmarked as the top 2 runners in this race so far. Under 100 laps left. I'm losing track of how many restarts. I want to say it's 8. There we go. So this will be the 9th time that iRacing pace car will peel off of the racetrack for lead changes. Green flag out. Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot on the outside. Better restart, but Cabot's still going to be able to clear Turner into 1.
Cabot really liking that bottom line for these restarts. Immediately gets up ahead of his teammate. Makes it a nice and easy effort for turn 1 after the restart. Meanwhile, everybody behind struggles as there's some 3 wide situations here in the middle of the pack. Looks like it's gotten separated out here. I don't know who that was coming down the backstretch doing a zigzag all the way down.
It was just chasing the handling this car all over the place, but Jeff Wright has Joshua Banks now to the inside of the 31 of Matt Shednoski, 3rd place finisher at Iowa Speedway. And it seems like this car a little bit unpredictable on the brakes. We talked about brake bias, and you can actually adjust the front and rear cylinders for the brakes on this car individually versus, kind of like a ballast where you would lean towards the front, lean towards the rear. You can adjust both to the max if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but you individually adjust them on this car, and that might be the case for some of these guys pushing up the racetrack into the entry.
You can see right now the 48 and the 35 have it figured out as they are both slicing and dicing their way back through the field. Jeff Wright gets around the 45, 3-wide situation going down the back stretch. Cost with a big slow up there on the outside. Everybody else was able to get around. That got a little hairy there, Bradley.
63 is going to tag the wall here coming out of turn 2. No, it gets loose, then hits the wall, and everybody dodges it. That was the 60 of Stefan Davis who made evasive maneuvers. Actually, want to go back here on board with Stefan Davis if we can. back it up a little bit more. This is out of 4. We're going to go out of turn 2. We're going to see this move. It's going to be at the last second. Let's ride around with Stephon Davis and take a listen. And it happens that fast.
Great reactions coming out of Davis, though. Recognized that. Could have very well tried to go to the outside once the nose pointed down the track. Luckily held it up just in time to get back to the inside. Now to the inside goes Joshua Banks. He's going to get around Stephen Davis here. Davis falls back to 10th. Wright and Banks both up into the top 10 now.
I think I say Stephon Davis. I got like 3 different ways to say his name.
Well, don't worry, there's about 40 other ways that you could say it.
As long as you don't call him late to dinner. That's X-Side number 60 in the top 10, up 8 spots. Still holding on to this top 10 position. He's got a little cushion behind him there with Bryce Shoemaker, Elliott Butler side by side, and that could help him kind of slow this heel. He's fallen back a little bit here. He was quick on the initial start of this race, but now coming up on halfway, it looks like it's starting to fall out of the top 10.
But as we mentioned earlier, you know, one of the best things that you can see in your rearview mirror is a side-by-side battle. It's the 16 and the 54. And back up towards the front, it's side-by-side. Bailey Turner got a good run there through 3 and 4. Got door-to-door with Adam Cabot coming down the front stretch, and door-to-door once more in 1 and 2. But Cabot still up on that high line. He's going to get the drive off that he needs to get around.
Cabot barely got that drive off to get around. I mean, we're talking fractions. There was probably not a millimeter there between the right front fender and that safer barrier to get off of turn 2, but it was enough to get away and drive out away of his teammate. Turner's going to go back to the drawing board. This is where you gotta know what the car's capable of, and I think with a long green flag run, maybe Turner has something for Cabot. Right now, good defense from the 17.
Turner, always one of those drivers that can make that adjustment on the fly that he needs to do to make that pass complete. Right now, just comfortable in second. No need to force the issue, especially with the teammate. But you can see they're both running pretty well the identical line to one another. Cabot comes out a little bit further on corner exit. Back here is the 3 of Sturgill. On the outside looking in for a podium position, Ryan Carwile just ahead. It looks like both of these drivers slightly decreasing that gap.
Last time by a 32 flat for Adam Cabot, 10th faster than Bailey Turner. Sturgill, 5 thousandths of a second faster than your leader. Fastest car in the top 10. Goes to the 3 car. Gonna translate that to the lead here soon if he can keep that up. Well, it's been
our top 10
it's been strange.
Yeah, it's single filed out here in the top 10.
I was just about to say how kind of an off-tempo race this has been. Our coverage of the Cup Series the last couple weeks is really cleaned up. Things have been really, really good, and we have different strategies throughout. We've saw a variety of different racing with long green flag runs comparative to late race cautions. We talked about Bailey Turner and his dominance at the beginning of the season. Not to take anything away from Bailey, but the common denominator in those first 6 weeks or so, Logan, was there was a lot of cautions to start this season off.
There most certainly was, and then everything started to get pretty cleaned up. Now back to how the beginning couple races started this season. We've had more than a handful of cautions already tonight, not even 100 laps into this race. Let's see if these drivers can keep it under 10 here. You know, we're on the back half now. Adam Cabot has officially led over half of this race, though.
And with that, it's a perfect opportunity, since we are past that halfway mark, to find those volume knobs. You did it once here in the Challenger Series. Let's do it all again, and let's get loud. Presented by FireStorm Racing. Let's turn it up. Stephon Davis goes sideways in the middle of our Get Loud, presented by FireStorm, and I mean, I hate to jump out of that thing. I love the sound of these cars and going around this less than a mile racetrack, or just at a mile. It seemed like Stephon Davis just got loose out of turn 2. We'll go back on.
Turn 2 it's been menacing all night long. I'm not surprised to see somebody getting sideways out of that corner exit. Down the front stretch here. Looks like he has a good entry into 1. Doesn't quite get down to that bottom line, but nobody's really running that line right now. There's where that rear end starts to slide around, able to catch it, but does tag the inside wall. Back out onto the track with minimal damage, however.
We're looking through this field, some comers and goers. Top 12, or up 12 rather, for Max Koss. Still up positions has Kenny Kibbe, Elliott Butler, Bryce Shoemaker just ahead here as Kibbe dives to the inside of the 16. This is for the 11th position. Put the ticker back up on your screen. There was a lot of birthdays being shouted out there in the Challenger race. I don't know if you got a piece of that, Logan, but quite a few people born in April, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what the correlation is for the month to year, if there's a certain celebration to be had, but happy birthday. The one that I did catch was Noah Michalski. I think Andrew as well, who actually did not make the race tonight, celebrating a birthday as well. Maybe a couple more mixed out throughout the field. It didn't quite catch all the shout outs in the Challenger Series.
Looking off the back of the 17, and Michael Sturgill falling back a little bit. Actually, that's Donnie Kite. I thought that was Dakota Floyd there for a second, but it's actually the 26, currently running in the 23rd position. Trying to play a different strategy to get back on the lead lap past the halfway mark. Needs a caution now. He would be the lucky pass recipient from 23rd spot. He has some teammates that are having some success here in the top 10. There's Josh Adams in the number 6. The Juicy Spider Gaming 06. 06 just outside the top 10. He was up there just a moment ago, but remember, these are drivers that stayed out kind of on a weird stint, a weird strategy. We saw it pay off in the Challenger Series with a victory. Does it pay off here tonight? What's your opinion there, Logan?
You know, tires, like you mentioned at the very beginning of all this, they're going to be at a premium here tonight. So to see two drivers electing to take just two and jump the field back up to the front, you know, it looks like it could pay off, but there's so much race left at that point that they came down about 23, 25 laps ago, somewhere in that area. It's quite a bit of fall off here for those two drivers between Hapiak and Adams. Adams able to retain a top 10 position. Hapiak, however, has fallen all the way back to 14th. I believe he was the one that started on the outside. So starting in the second spot to 14th. Not what you want to see on a strategy call.
The battle for fifth starting to heat up with Joshua Banks all over the back bumper. Will ride on board here with the 35. He'll now dive to the inside of the 57 machine. Floyd not going to fight too hard here on the high line. Banks going to pick up that spot. We have about 60 to go here from Loudon.
Joshua Banks, one of those drivers looking at the statistics down pit road. He looks like he took just the 2 tires. The last time the 35 saw pit road. That was about 5 laps after Dakota Floyd. So, you know, again, that strategy call coming into play here for Joshua Banks, and it's working out in his favor. The reverse effect for Adams and Hapiak, but it looks like Banks did get loose out of turn 4 there.
I'll put Floyd back into the picture as the 57 gets back up to the rear bumper. I don't know if he wants to push this issue just yet. Still got a lot of racing left to go. It's about a third left in this thing. Logan, I know limited experience can play a big factor in a lot of these races. New Hampshire, not one of my racetracks. So, you know, when you look at the top 3, probably, this is something that they put a lot of practice into or have a lot of experience with. They've split off almost 3 full seconds from the rest of this field.
Well, when we talked to Adam Cabot earlier in this race during one of those yellow flag runs, is just ahead of the 17. There's somebody sideways. Looks like maybe brought it down pit road at the same time, but a whole lot of smoke filling up that windscreen for the 17 machine. But as I was saying there, Cabot mentioning, you know, Bailey Turner, a strong driver here at New Hampshire year after year, surprising himself to be up here in the number 1 spot with a half-second gap over his teammate that he was boasting about.
Going back on the replay here, Logan, I was trying to find, I think it was Nick Wood in the 27 that got sideways coming out of turn 4 right in front of your leaders. You're gonna look back off the rear bumper, and there you can see Cabot and Turner. That smoke you were talking about just a moment ago is gonna come right here.
And just before this, too, the 60 of Stephen Davis did have some issues coming out of turn number 2. Pretty well the same exact thing. Kept it off the inside wall. That turn 2 is really devastating to the 60 machine this race. It's 2 or 3 times I've seen him get loose out of that corner.
Battle's still hot outside the top 10. 12th back to 14th between Max Cost, Elliott Butler. The 9 of Brian Chambliss is all, well, actually, the 9 of Chambliss a little bit further back from this battle, but creeping his way back to it. When you talk about longevity of tires, this car doesn't respond well until it's too late. We've seen that time and time again with the overcorrections, the tires burning off on the right-hand side. You don't get a lot of feedback from this thing with the independent suspension. Don't want to lean on it too hard. We've seen so many drivers pay the consequences for that, as we see there is a battle for 14th now.
Ryan Chambliss using that inside line. He's got the 09, who's a couple laps down just behind. Also looking to the inside here, the 16. Who's going to come out on top? The 16 goes way up the track. That's going to leave all of the room after Brian Chambliss and Chad Klinger work their way by. Elliott Butler back to 15th now. Looks like a battle starting to form a little bit behind, too. Battle for the lead.
This is actually for second here with Carlisle. Turner's falling back. He was up there competing earlier.
Carlisle using that high line that's got the speed that we've seen from Adam Cabot, who's separated by a second and a half nearly. Cabot doing a fantastic job, really putting on a clinic here tonight.
We saw a dominant performance from a driver in the Challenger Series in the 79 at Jordan Trask. Led 105 laps tonight. Didn't get the victory. It was back-to-back for Morgan Cook. Ryan Carlisle, Bailey Turner battled it out there for second just now, and it looks like Turner may be falling off a little bit. Jeff Wright on the move to the back bumper of Julio Villalobos. Almost contact with the wall.
Both of those drivers made contact with the wall. Villalobos barely grazed it. 48 of Wright was the touch loose on exit, overcorrected just enough to get back into the wall, but now challenging the inside line here. Villalobos is going to be hung out to dry on the outside. Backs down the corner quite a bit more, though. Will he go for that over maneuver? Oh, it's going to be the 48 just getting a good solid drive off of turn 2 and putting some separation to the back bumper.
Through this field, Max Koss, again, back from around the 12th, 11th position. It's still been hot. Josh Adams now coming down pit road.
Right at the start of lap 101.
I like it.
It's a good call.
Come down short pit. I mean, if you're a little off the pace, you're going to kind of seal the deal if this race stays green for a top 10. But Josh Adams also had a different strategy than everybody else as well. 42 laps of the stint. We're talking about 2 tires. Looks like a case of 4 tires this time around. Should make all the difference.
I think that's Jeff Wright just came down pit road too. He did. .48's going to try to take up around the same strategy here. Let's see what Jeff Wright does to the car. Right sides will surely go up.
I think you take 4 no matter what.
Yep, 4 is the call here.
Down and away for Jeff Wright. It looks like, I think that's Kibbe coming into pit now from around the 10th position or so. The car that almost hit the pit barrels. That's the 29. 27? Nope. 26. Oh, to be 26.
Okay. Going to be a very damaged race car of Donnie Kite. 2 laps down right now for the 26. This pit cycle will surely put him down 1 more. But been caught up in a couple incidences here tonight for Kite.
Logan, lap traffic becoming a factor here. You have a car in between these guys. Can't quite tell who that is. I'm going to take a guess and say it was the 51 who just brought it down pit road. They could be wrong on that. There's a lot going on here in a short amount of time.
All I know is that 1.5 second lead that Adam Cabot had has now turned into less than a half second. As Ryan Carlisle has been on a charge ever since he got around the 24 of Bailey Turner about 10 to 15 laps ago. The 71 finding that late run speed that he needs. We'll see if he can run it all the way to the end or if this pit cycle is going to do anything to Carlisle. 2 of these drivers up here still out for 47 laps. It looks like 4 our top 4 all on the same strategy. Then it gets mixed up by Joshua Banks and out the back end to the top 10. It's all the same strategy.
So this is kind of an unofficial driver cam, but I think it's still worth showing here. In the background here of Michael Sturgill. I know we're getting a full face shot here, but you can see just off of the edge of that monitor there, the 53 of Mike Sturgill, the new setup. They qualified side by side last week there, Logan.
You almost have to make some jokes about it. Be quite interesting to know if it was
you don't want to know what I said to
or
Mike.
the other.
Yeah, I asked Mike if Michael went over and qualified for him, since they ran almost identical lap times.
Hey, it's a valid assumption, but look at this. Carwile now all over the back bumper of Adam Cabot. It's the 17 versus the 71. Flip-flop those numbers around. Who's going to come out on top? Carwile with a good run. Coming off the bottom here.
Looking really good off of 4.
Oh, he gets the underneath. And just before the line, Carwile will now claim a lap lead here as he still has that inside line advantage through 1 and 2.
And he'll clear, but this is right in the window for pit stops. And I want to say that Cabot will probably bring it down pit road within the next lap. Either here or the next time by.
Want to get around. That would be a good call for Cabot. Get some fresh tires underneath. And there it is right now. 17 brings it down pit road, makes it under speed with ease. Now, how long does Ryan Carwile stay out here? Does he try to go a couple laps around and separate himself? 71 has a whole lot of room off the back bumper right at that 4-second mark before the 3 of Michael Sturgill is in the picture.
48 of Jeff Wright, a lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap. Needs this race to stay green. Ryan Carwile will peel down pit road the very next lap. We'll have 1 lap difference on tires. Carwile showing the long run speed here. Hoping this race stays green all the way to the end. Based off of this stint and how far these drivers have been willing to take it, this fits right in the wheelhouse for where Carwile was a little bit faster.
This is a perfect outcome for Carwile. We'll see, just how much he has to battle with other cars around to get himself back into that position to challenge for the lead later in this run. But coming around here, it's going to be Julio Villalobos Jr. in the second position with quite a bit of difference between himself and Sturgill. Now we are inside that 40 laps to go here, Bradley.
And the window of opportunity presenting itself in the yellow, and that's going to reset everything, and it's Cabot involved.
The dominating factor of this race gets sideways and pushed all the way through 1 and 2, or 3 and 4.
Logan, I think at this point, he's just happy that car wasn't totaled.
It looks like the 6, however, that was tied up in this.
I don't think you're going to like to see who had contact with the 17 car. I know he's not going to be happy about it.
Got the 24.
Would you like to be a fly in that Discord channel right now?
I would say it's probably a lot less hostile up here in the VSPEED booth. As they both try to make that move to the inside. You've got the 99 of Brandon Wallace, and it looks like Cabot just unable. Oh, and a big hit coming right to the driver door from the 6 of Josh Adams. That results in a meatball flag for Adams as well.
On board with Josh Adams here. There's the contact just ahead.
Cabot nearly had it saved. Had another car squeezed between him and the wall there. Then just brought it all the way back down the track.
Uh-oh. Well, Turner's been looking for the lead. I don't think that's how he wanted it.
Is not at all how he wanted it. And look at this, the 71 of Carlisle will be right behind Bailey Turner. Got a couple, looks like some lap traffic here that will get a wave around. I don't know, that's an interesting one there. We've mentioned it multiple times. You don't want to overdrive your teammate. You do want to challenge them, but that one maybe just coming down to a form of broken communication as both of those drivers trying to work their way around the 99 of Wallace and just unfortunately made that contact. Man, over 100 laps led for Adam Cabot, and it's going to put him way back in the pack. Cabot's all the way back to the 18th position.
We saw it.
It is a mess down the backstretch right now. We're doubled up, and looks like we're going to add another lap here to get sorted back out. I'm not sure what's happening, why it's taken so long to get stacked back up. It looks like having some issues with some of that lap traffic.
Some of the drivers trying to get repairs done and get as much done as they can for every single lap. We are officially getting the one to go signal this time by, and this will put us at 130 or 116 laps into this event, going back green on 117. This is right over 40 to go, or right under.
That was a great green flag run, though. Really nice to change the pace up from the beginning half of this race. Picked up our earlier 8 cautions within that first, I want to say, about 60 laps. And then from about lap 65 or so to where we're at now was mostly under green flag conditions. Don't quote me on those lap counts, but this time by, this pace car will come off. Bailey Turner now in control. Ryan Carlisle likes where he's sitting on the outside here. In that Geico restart zone we go. Green flag in the air. Turner is away on the bottom, but not nearly as good as what Adam Cabot was doing, but he does still get up ahead of the 71.
34 laps left. Car way up on the outside. That's Julio Villalobos, and he's going to lose a couple spots. Take him 3 wide off of 2. Cuts the nose off of Belkey. Car sideways in the background.
Yellow flag comes out once more. Looks like Elliott Butler mixed up in this one. It's the 16. Got sideways off of turn 2, where we've seen that action all night long. Back here on the VSPEED instant replay, taking a look. As Cabot does go to the inside. No contact made, however. Maybe just getting the 16 a little spooked.
Squeeze. Contact there.
Cabot got so lucky there, not getting spun again.
What do you say we take him to another commercial break here, Logan? Let's go ahead and talk about Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. Get a word from our sponsors. And we'll be back here on VSPEED. Have under 30 laps to go when we go back green. Just a moment's time here for week 11, right after this.
What's up, everyone? I am Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tool Supra.
Comes back. He's gonna send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're gonna. Joshua Banks is gonna win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of M&J Distributors, for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to VSPEED and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, you know, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, you know, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on the circuit.
Welcome back to New Hampshire. We're in the New England states for week 11. We're going to have 30 laps to go, 31 laps to go. Bailey Turner contact with his teammate in the 17 of Adam Cabot. They've been kind of measuring each other up all race long. On the outside, Ryan Carwile. And if I had to make a pick here for this green flag restart, we're back underway. I'm going to go with the 71 of Carwile on the long run if we stay green from here.
Yeah, Ryan Carwile, he showed a whole lot of pace there right before that, well, not the last caution, but the second to last caution came out. But you've got to keep in mind, look at this 35 of Joshua Banks. Looks like he's shaking the rust off as we got sideways action. Jeff Wright back to the inside here, trying to run the road course again.
Down in the grass doesn't bring out a caution. He'll stay good, but he loses a lot of ground here. As we go back up front, there's the pass for second. Carwile, Banks, side by side.
Looks like the 35, like I was saying there, is knocked off the rust. His first return back here
he
after a
knocked it
couple
off
weeks
just now.
off. He's ready to go here at the end of this race.
He really drove it out of turn 2. Just a second ago, he's still turning it out of 4.
A little bit of help to get going again from Carwile, but that's going to leave him at risk here. Michael Sturgill looking to the inside.
Look in that mirror on the top right. That's a mirror full for Banks.
Exactly what you want to see right now if you're Joshua Banks.
They're racing hard. Oh, Banks is sliding up the racetrack. That's not what you want to see on your end of things, though. You got a mirror of 2 drivers racing side by side. We also have a driver cam with a 3 who's locked in and just as focused. It's Michael Sturgill looking for second position. Almost in contact. Way up the racetrack here in the 3 and 4.
Separated by mere inches here. Banks all the way out to the wall, nearly makes contact there. Sturgill not going away for this position. Sends it in a little bit deeper, maybe a little bit of contact there. Unsettles the suspension for the 35, gets a better look to the inside.
Down the back stretch, door to door, nose to nose. And it looks like Sturgill really had to back out of the entry. He'll hold it down to the inside. Man, it's so hard to look away from this battle right here.
No. Right ahead of most of the field here. Sturgill's going to get sideways, sent around backwards, contact between a couple more. Banks seems to fare all right from it.
I got both their cameras up right now. I had both their cameras up. All right, everybody at home, judge that.
I'm at a loss of words right now between these two. It's been, such a good battle here between Sturgill and Banks. This is going to be coming around out of turn number 4 here. And right at that start-finish line, Banks just comes down off the wall a little bit too much, it looked like. I don't think Sturgill made his way up the track. Right there's that initial contact, sends them both around. You got Carlisle, he gets mixed up in it, and ultimately ends up sending both of them around a little bit more. Sturgill picking up some heavy damage on the front right.
Did you say Carlisle? I thought you said Carlisle right there. Got a little bit worried. He did get a piece. I thought he got turned.
No. Carlisle just kind of assisted here with this last touch
Yeah.
on Banks that sent him back down the track into Sturgill, sending Sturgill completely sideways. Otherwise, those two might have been able to collect it back up, but Sturgill's going to get two big hits there as he sits sideways in turn one. Yeah, it looked like Sturgill really had a shot there to keep that car straight. There's a hit, and then right across the front nose.
That's who it was. I thought that you meant Carlisle, and then it's unfortunate for Belke. Watch this. We do have pit stops happening right now. Drivers down and out of pit road. You got Stephon Davis, Joshua Banks. Banks, of course, had to get some damage repaired. Austin Belke, of course, also getting that damage done up. Mike Sturgill. Some of these guys on strategy, and if you're from 10th on back here, Logan, I think this is the call to use. If you have one set left, this is the time.
You know, we've seen a good green flag run already. You have to assume that this one will finish under green flag conditions. You might not have another shot to put a set of tires underneath your car. Our top 10 right now, 15 to 20 laps already on these tires. So if this goes green to the end, that's going to be a big difference for even just, I mean, look at Joshua Banks. He falls back to 11th, but he's going to be the first one on fresh tires. We'll see how it plays out. Bailey Turner's going to be in control once more here on this restart. We've seen time and time again just how important that is to get that big jump. Work your way back out to the outside before turn one. Look at Villalobos Jr. up 20 positions to the second spot. Starting on the outside here, just a little over 20 to go. Green flag out once more, and there's that big jump for the 24.
That's what he wanted. Here's Nick Hapiak to the inside. Seem to recall something like this happening at Kern County with the 06 and the 24. Can Nick Hapiak find his way around Bailey Turner and steal this one away?
Looking a little bit further back in the pack, it's the 48 of Jeff Wright trying everything that he can right now. He used that line that I had mentioned earlier about the truck races, typically coming down and crossing out of turn two within that range of the pit exit. Right, doesn't bring it all the way down like he did last time, but utilizing all of that apron as he was 3 wide in some spots. It's Austin Belke's around. Just on the outside of turn number 2, the 89 gets sent sideways, noses it straight into the wall, and immediately gets off the track. Oh, just loose out there on the edge of where you see that dark gray, light gray asphalt. To stay on that darker surface there. A little bit more grip. I think the right side's just barely off of the edge. Not even.
Yeah.
Just no grip there. And there's that snap that you see coming out of these next-gen cars so often.
It is difficult to correct these things, to say the least, and we've seen a lot here tonight where drivers will try to put a little bit of wheel back and counter steer these things. It's happened a lot here. That's independent suspension. When we talk about independent rear ends, we're talking about you've got an upper and lower control arm and pivotal drive shafts. It's not direct input. There's no leaf springs. This whole back end is free to play just like the front end. it doesn't tell you a lot until it's too late. You're going to have that sensation that you're loose, and then suddenly you're in the wall.
You have to play that fine line there as well. You know, trying to save it and then over snapping right into the outside wall. It's, you know, sometimes with this car, you just have to choose which one is going to be the better option of the two. Do you want to spin it to the inside, or do you want to hit the outside wall? It's, you know, there's so many different ways that you can wreck this thing.
Yeah, and honestly, there's no reactivity because of how late it tells you what it's doing. It's just muscle memory at that point. With every other car on iRacing right now, this car drives completely opposite. This is more like a road course car, like a GT3, GT4 car, where once you lose it, it's a matter of jabbing on the brakes instantly, you know, just to control that slide at the same direction. If you try to countersteer these cars, they are inevitably going to go the opposite direction, right into the wall.
Well, we're closing in on that 15-minute mark here before Saturday night racing turns into Sunday morning racing. Let's see, as we're doubled back
minutes.
up, if we can figure this one out and end it before the new day.
We've got 15 minutes here, Logan. Hit that 2-hour mark from our 10 o'clock start time. Race recap on the screen. 12 cautions, 7 lead changes. Benjamin Richards. It would still be named SNR.
Would we have to change it to SMR?
I don't think we will. I think we're going to find out who our winner is in just 15 laps time here. Just shy of that. Bailey Turner with another excellent restart with Kibbe. Floyd. And here comes Jeff Wright finding his way to maybe get a podium here.
Jeff Wright back into the top 3. Side by side with Dakota Floyd. Oh, and contact midway through the pack just behind. Carlisle sideways. Everybody's going around. And there's the caution. It took long enough. Carlisle, though, man. He had such a good shot here with the late race run.
Stephen Davis.
Stephen Davis is sideways even. Looks like we've got a lot to unpack here.
Here's the drift through 3 and 4. Sideways, sideways. There's more contact for Joshua Banks like he needed it. And what
Banks
happened?
and Chambliss.
Let's back this up again. There's the contact between the 54. That's actually Shoemaker that I think that gets into the backup.
And you've got, it looks like Josh Adams too, blinking in and out of existence, trying to work his way around the high side.
There's the contact. And what happened here?
Oh, Banks did such a good job to avoid that first one. Oh, man. Davis just came back up on the track a little bit too much, and then collects the 16 of Elliott Butler, the 27 of Nick Wood, too.
I know, the more laps that dwindle away here, Logan, the more I'm thinking this could be number 5.
It certainly is looking like it for Bailey Turner. However, don't want to speak that into existence just yet. This has been a wild and wacky race. We've already got somebody in the comments calling us out for the commentator's curse. We don't need to spend too much time here. And I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to end the statement there.
In the dialogue right there. I know that we have been notorious here on VSPEED to put these guys in a weird situation. Hey, we kind of did it tonight with some of the guys that we looked at, talked to mid-race, and things kind of fell apart for them. So the Challenger Series had a dominant driver. We talked to him, and then, you know.
You say that, but look who's back in the top 5. It's the 17 of Adam Cabot. He'll be starting on the outside row here, just behind the 48 of Jeff Wright. He's got a couple really fast cars just ahead, but Adam Cabot still has a chance to swing this back around. He's got enough time to do it, but does the 17 have the pace? Cabot has the freshest tires in the top 5 right now.
He needs the time. That's where it's gonna boil down. Is does he have laps under green flag conditions to actually pass these cars?
That's what we need right now for the 17 is a green flag run all the way to the end. Bailey Turner will take the green flag from the outside line. Let's see if lucky number 13 will be the last one.
Cabot with a decent restart. Decent restart there for the 17 car.
It's the outside now. Kibbe gets the inside of Jeff Wright just ahead. Cabot's going to back it down. Look to the inside now of both of them. 3 wide through 3 and 4. Nearly contact between the 17 and the 14. Jeff Wright gets away from Kibbe. And now here comes Cabot to the inside of 1 and 2. Makes it stick, and he's going to get some separation now.
Right now, this is where those fresh tires are going to come into play. We're talking about Jeff Wright and Adam Cabot, both 12 laps on this stint. They could very well go up there and pass the 24 Bailey Turner, but man, he is so fast with double the laps on the tires.
Oh man, 3 wide action surrounding the 54 of Bryce. Shoemaker nearly got spun around by the 35 of Joshua Banks. Banks was able to get around, however, still trying to work his way back up through the field, trying to get back into a top 10 position. That one got hairy there. That almost reset the entire field here. And that would have been a best possible outcome for both Jeff Wright and Adam Cabot to get one more restart here, but they still have to chase down that elusive number 24. You have to think, too, it's sitting in the back of Cabot's mind. He did it earlier. Will it be time to return the favor to Bailey Turner?
We're watching Nick Hapiak working to the outside. Bailey Turner, or not Bailey Turner, but Joshua Banks all over the back bumper as Hapiak got loose there out of 2. Gonna put the 35 to the outside.
That battle just ahead for that 7th place position as well. Villalobos and Sturgill side by side. The back half of the top 10 coming up with the heat to end out this race. Sturgill falls back just enough to let Villalobos have a look. The 45 gets loose. Here comes the run from Sturgill once more down the backstretch. Banks looking to the outside of Hapiak still. Shanofsky liking what he's seeing out of the back or out of the rear view mirror. Oh, and the 06 gets around the 35. Joshua Banks is back into the top 10. However, more positions equals more points.
Yep. On that mark here, 5 laps to go. At what point here would you go 3 wide? I think the 06, I was contemplating, do you dive to the inside here on Sturgill? He was battling. I think this is the mark here where you start getting aggressive. You make whatever move is necessary. And Hapiak's on the same page.
Looking to do it as the 3 gets sideways just ahead of Joshua Banks. Collects it back up. We're going to stay green coming down the backstretch. Got a little bit of separation there. Here it is. Jeff Wright now within 0.3 of a second of Bailey Turner. Cabot falling back about a second away from our leader. Possibly saving tires here for the last couple of laps, but Jeff Wright in attack mode. Wright would also be looking to make this number 2 on the season. So a couple drivers up here looking to add to the tally. Yellow flag is out once more. I have no clue where this one came from, though. It's the 86 of Johnson New now trying to run on the road course.
I don't think he has a
Heavy
choice.
damage to the right front.
Yeah, that car's not steering anymore.
There it is. There's that right side getting up over that darker section of asphalt. Just ahead as well, looked like had one of the Juicy Spider cars getting loose. Man, what a big hit. There's nothing you can do to bring it back down to the bottom of the track. That's full toe out on the right front for the 86.
Gotta back this up one more time. If this car
Might
is
as
really
well.
this hard to drive here, Logan, I gotta say, these guys on TV and the Cup Series make it look way easier.
You know, I would have to argue that certainly the real Cup cars have to have a much better feedback than what we get in the sim here. A lot of these guys have the option of the haptic systems. You know, you can feel the vibration through the rig. Some of the vibrations coming through the pedals, force feedback in the wheel. Sometimes it's just not enough. However, you have very minimal banking in the corners. Again, only maxing out at that 7-degree mark. It is a tough ask for some of these drivers out here. You see the ones that are able to master it, work their way up to the front or keep it up in the front. But, you know, a lot of this field just doesn't have access to that same feedback.
They said he was going to circle it on the calendar, and we're doubled back up with 3 laps to go. This is going to be a natural green-white checker. We do have extensions of this race. These drivers are going to take the green flag with 2 laps to go. The next flag will be the white flag. If they reach that white flag, it's official. Bailey Turner is going to try to hold on to this, but Jeff Wright, Adam Cabot, who dominated the day with 105 laps led. Going to restart on the inside of Jeff Wright. 103 laps here. That is a dominant performance.
Most
Will he
importantly
have a
here,
podium to show?
Bradley, I think the most important thing to look at right now is that 19 lap difference here for Turner, Wright, and Cabot on the tires. Is this top lane going to work out for Turner? Green flag in the air. Let's see if that 24 can retain the lead here. And it looks like a little bit of an issue on that restart for the inside line.
On the
There
apron.
goes the 48 to the apron. Can't
the
quite
nose of
make it
Kimmy.
stick.
Really cut the nose of Kimmy off, but Kimmy was able to get around the 17. Happy Easter to everybody, and maybe happy Easter to Bailey Turner. He's going to find one here as the white flag will come out. I think we're going to make it official. One more time around here in Loudon. Race number 11 of the regular season in the Cup Series, side by side back there with Shanoski. Jeff Wright doing everything he can, dive to the apron, taking a page out of Turner's book. In the other series, I think Bailey Turner is going to add his 5th win. No one has contested him. Let's see if there's one more sin here by Jeff Wright. There is a major sin to 3 and 4. He just can't quite get there. And off of 3 and 4, Bailey Turner is going to add 5 wins to season number 4 of the Saturday Night Cup Series.
And despite the effort from Adam Cabot, Kenny Kibbe takes up that 3rd spot on the podium. The 17 just not enough time to get it done.
Jeff Wright with a 2nd position finish. Kenny Kibbe with a top 3. And Adam Cabot, the dominant car of the day, has to settle for 4th. But letting Bailey Turner know you got one.
Little animosity there from the teammates, but ultimately 2 drivers in the top 5. You've got to be happy as a team standing. Adam Cabot would have loved to mark one more on the board for this season. especially so close to the playoffs. He's right there around that cutoff. Actually came into this race in the 12th position. Taking home a 4th place finish will certainly help, but a win could have been so much better.
Post-race interviews with your top 3 and those final race results coming up here for Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series action live from New Hampshire. More action will continue right after this.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
For the first time this season, the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, Otto gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger, all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League, first of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix. But the 73 of Joseph McWhorter is going to be your season 2 champion. Here he comes off of turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway.
Banks takes him 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Look at this, 3 wide again. The top 3 still
right now.
Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind, this is my prime. Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind.
Pull those belts tight. You're watching Saturday Night Racing League, only on VSPEED.
Well, the checkered flag has flown, and we have a 5-time winner here, being the 24 of Bailey Turner, collecting yet another win in the regular season just a couple weeks before we see this playoff format come to life. Take a quick look through here. Our post-race results, those 14 cautions, led us into a Sunday morning race review. 7 lead changes on the night. Bailey Turner making the last one count. Started out second to the outside of his teammate Adam Cabot. Had some struggles there between the team, but ultimately Cabot was able to recover, and Bailey Turner takes home the win. Jeff Wright, he had some issues throughout the race as well. If there's an award for passing the most cars, I think the 48 takes it, as he fell back all the way towards the back end of the field a couple times here tonight, works his way back up to second. Kenny Kibbe, I believe, with his first podium finish here of the season. The 14 taking home third, followed up by the 17 of Adam Cabot. Dakota Floyd makes his way up to the 5th position here from 11th. Matt Shinosky, he's certainly going to be the winner of the most positions gained on the night. Started out in 20s, 8 all the way up to 6 for the 31. Julio Villalobos Jr. takes the 45 to 7th on the night. Michael Sturgill in the 3 takes home 8. Nick Hapiak in the 06 will be 9th. And last but not least, in our top 10, that late hard charge from Ryan Carlisle did not end up in a podium position, but it still keeps the 71 in 10th.
Congratulations there to Matt Shinosky on the Clark Print Shop. Most positions gained with 22 spots to get that 6th position. Joshua Banks will finish in 11th with Donnie Kite in 12th. Bryce Shoemaker will be in 13th with Caleb Weekly in 14th. A lot of these drivers here in the top 20 started outside of it or just inside of it. We had Joshua Banks, who had an up and down day, in 11th, but you go back here to Keith Shoemaker in 15th position, Max Costa in 16th spot. You go a little bit further down the list with Brian Chambliss, started in 26th, will settle for 17th. That's a pretty solid day with 9 spots gained. Then you have Mike Sturgill, in 18th, progressively getting better. Then you have Elliott Butler and Josh Adams. Not the finish that he predicted today. Fought for the lead there for a moment. Will finish in the top 20.
Right at that midfield mark is where we start to see our lap traffic coming into effect. I think it's right at halfway of this field, finishing this race at least 1 lap down. The 09 of Chad Klinger will finish 5 laps down. Brandon Wallace in the 99 takes 22nd, 10 laps down. Stephen Davis in the 60. Saw him quite a bit on the track tonight, battling for multiple positions, 14 laps down after the last one he was involved in, takes him out. Nick Wood at the 27 finishes out in 24th. Austin Belkey takes the 89 to 25th. John Sanu will finish out here 21 laps down in 26th. Christopher Hodges in the 51 with an early exit on the night in 27th. J.R. Shepard in the 98, who he also showed some potential there midway through the race. He exits early, 65 laps down. Joseph McWhorter got tied up early as well, 125 laps down for the 73 in 29th. And last but not least, in the top 30 is the 93 of Rob Denton, 133 laps down. Didn't even get to race in this race, really.
So you're looking at the rest of this field with Reggie Ortega, Roderick McLavick, AJ Stravano, James Lehman, Philip Brewer, and Benjamin Richards. A lot of these drivers, I think, elected not to take the grid or had a very, very short start. Reggie Ortega was on the grid here tonight, but it seems like everybody from 33rd on down didn't get a lap in here tonight, and they will finish outside of that top 30. But with that, it's time to start bringing up drivers from our top 3. And the first driver that we're going to catch up with here on pit road, it's going to be the number 14 of Kenny Kibbe. It's going to be our third place finisher here tonight from New Hampshire. And Kenny Kibbe, I got to say, congratulations to you. You started in the top 5 here tonight. You had a fast car. You competed with everyone, fought very hard to keep this top 10. You come out on the podium here tonight. First time talking to you, I believe, this season.
Yeah, I think first time ever. And I know what you're thinking. Like, haha, he qualifies and he has a good run.
That's exactly right.
But
Connor Horn agrees.
This one was so circumstantial because, like, for one, I did have to go kind of to the back when I got wrecked midway through the race. But I just qualified because I did not think we were going to be very good this week. So my theory was I'll try to qualify and just kind of maintain as much track position as I could. I knew it was going to be tough to pass too, and but luckily in the middle of the race there, when we had those long runs, we actually settled in and had really good speed again. But it was so tough out there. It was really just racing the racetrack.
Well, that's what New Hampshire really feels like. I don't think it matters if it's the next gen or the Gen 4. It is racing the racetrack. As soon as you start pushing yourself and focus on the guy next to you, that's where the mistakes happen.
Yeah, for sure. And, that's kind of where you would see a lot of the cautions happen as, guys would try to push that limit just a little bit too far and then they would make a mistake. And with how edgy this car was here at this track, you couldn't afford to do that. So I just tried to mind my P's and Q's like I try to do every week and tried to be smooth, and it paid off for the most part.
So if we go back to the beginning of this race, you talked about getting kind of knocked out of that top 10, having to repass some cars, but I know Connor Horn's going to agree with what you just said at the start of this interview that, you qualified here tonight. It changed the way and the outcome of this race. Is there a new theory, a new approach when we go racing next week? Will you be out there in the top 10 for qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably going to go back to qualifying again. But I will say there is some benefit to starting in the back. Like, I do learn a lot about the balance of the race car and obviously learn how to pass cars and learn a lot about your racecraft when you start in the back. But yeah, I think as we get closer to like the chase and the playoffs, I'm going to have to qualify just to try to maximize what I can get right from the beginning. So yeah, expect me to start qualifying a little more often.
Kenny Kibbe, third place here tonight, holds off Adam Cabot. Congratulations. And anybody that put this 14 car in the podium, go ahead and shout them out.
Yeah, just thanks to you guys up in the booth for the awesome broadcasts every week. Thanks to Jeff Wright and all the other admins for putting this league on and letting me race with them. It's been great. Thanks everybody, all my teammates. Some of us had some rough runs, but Matt Chinoski, I know he's a satellite teammate of ours. He had a great run tonight. And he also does my paints. Yes, exactly. And he does my paints too, and he does an awesome job at them. And thanks to everybody, all my friends and family who like to watch me and ride on board with me on Twitch as well.
Yes, that was a great shout out there. Good to know that Matt Chinoski had an excellent weekend, but you finally put it on the podium. Congratulations there, Kenny. And we look forward to seeing you in 1 week's time.
Sounds good, man.
Third place finisher here tonight, the number 14 of Kenny Kibbe at New Hampshire. With that, though, we're going to move down pit road. Logan Threlkeld has caught up with Jeff Wright, our co-commentator and league admin. Second place.
We've got Jeff Wright down here celebrating a podium, not the number one spot that you would wish to have, but ultimately, Jeff, I even made the mention here going through the post-race results. If there is an award for passing the most cars in a race, I think you take that one with ease. We saw you fall back to the back half of the field a couple times here tonight. What do you think the outcome is if that 48 stays where he's at? Doesn't have the issues that we saw you have tonight, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was going to be tough to beat Bailey or Adam just on raw speed and raw pace. I think those guys kind of had the field covered. Towards the end there, I found myself with the tire advantage. I kind of lucked out with strategy a little bit tonight. I about wrecked myself 2 or 3 different times and fell to the back and caught a caution kind of at a decent time and found myself up there with maybe a shot to go get it, but I still feel like I just didn't have quite enough to be able to really pass Bailey or really compete with him. So despite all things tonight, I mean, chaotic race. I'm stoked to get out of here with a P2 finish. I definitely don't think I deserved it tonight, but thankfully we had some things go our way as far as catching a caution, as soon as we were able to unlap ourselves. And yeah, we'll take it. Not our prettiest race, I guess, but decent for the points for sure.
Yeah, good points night, especially just a couple weeks away from the playoffs, where you're sitting in a great position. Came into this race sitting in third, but ultimately, second place here. Bailey Turner with another win. You might be able to get around and insert yourself into second on the standings ahead of Sturgill, but it's going to be a big change up next week when we make our way to Kansas. Are you prepared for how much different that track drives compared to here at New Hampshire?
I don't know, really, since Kansas had the new scan or the new repave or whatever it is, I haven't really been out there, or at least for a race. So we'll go there. Usually we tend to do pretty well on mile and a halves, and Kansas has been a good track for me, but this next gen car just really shakes everything up. It's really hard to know what to expect, and I just know it's going to be tough to beat the 24 car wherever we go, and he keeps racking up these wins. He's leading the point standings the regular season, so he's going to get bonus points for that. I think the rest of the field here, we're going to be in trouble. I think this 24 is going to be very, very tough to beat, not only anywhere we go, but definitely for the championship. So I think we're chasing him, so we're just going to try to go to Kansas and maybe try to get a win, get some bonus points here before the playoffs start, because we're going to need them.
Although you feel like you might not have had the pace here to keep up with Turner in the 24, you did set the fastest lap of the night by about a tenth and a half over Bailey Turner. So congratulations on that. Unfortunately, no extra bonus points for it. But Jeff Wright, second place, you can't be unhappy with. Is there anybody you'd like to say thanks to for putting the 48 up here?
Yeah, big thanks to everybody at VSPEED. You guys up in the booth tonight. It's not every night we get to have Bradley Cooper and Logan in the booth in the same race, or at least in this league. So that's cool to see. You guys both do such incredible work. Everybody behind the scenes, Adam Baker and all the producers that contribute to VSPEED. Obviously, all of our sponsors, M&J Distributors being our premier sponsor. Can't thank them enough. And all the other sponsors, FireStorm Racing, Clark Print Shop, Walk and Rollin' Costumes. Might be forgetting another one off the top of my head here, but just everybody that makes this thing happen, and all the other co-league admins, Chad Klinger, Reggie Ortega, Brian Chambliss. Yeah, just try to name everybody. They all deserve recognition, and we'll get out of here with the P2. I'll let you go talk to the race winner now.
Sounds like a plan, Jeff. Appreciate your time. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Kansas.
All right. Thanks, guys.
No laps led for the 48 here tonight. An unusual characteristic coming out of Jeff Wright, but we're going to move right on along to our race winner, who Bradley Cooper is standing by with Bailey Turner now.
Victory lane here for the 24 car, and I think we're calling it Bailey Turner's victory lane at this point. This is the 5th one out of 11 races, just shy of half of the wins in this season. We're at 43.5%, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know. Quick math. Bailey, you just did a snag. You stole it away. I think Adam Cabot had the defense on you, but as soon as that race kind of inverted with the strategy, it was all over and you were the car to beat.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest drive we've had to do this season. I mean, this car was just so on edge everywhere you went, and me and Adam had messed with our biases a little bit. And we had such great takeoff speed on the field, and we were manageable in the long run, but not great. And yeah, honestly, I feel bad. I mean, I haven't got to see like a clear replay yet, but I know we had came together there, and we were holding each other tight, and he was trying to get by a lap car, and I was trying to make sure he didn't get by the lap car, and came together. So unfortunate, and sorry to him for taking his chance at the win away. That definitely was not the intention of our hard racing. We had kept it clean up to that point. but man, like you said, 5 wins this season, and we've been up in the top 2, top 3 every single week. So it's been a good run. So it's nice to get back in victory lane. I felt like I gave one away at Richmond, so it's nice to get one here.
So when do you get re-engaged for the postseason?
Yeah, I need that kind of luck. I think I used it all up back in February and early March. So yeah, like I said, it's great to be back in here, and like I said, we're trying to build that buffer for once the playoffs start. And this one was not one I was expecting. I was expecting a few other guys to be up there, but I think everybody else was struggling just as much as we were with the handling of the setup. So just super pumped to be up here.
Well, I would be super pumped. It's not every day you hear about a 5-time winner here at Saturday Night Racing League. I don't think we had that in any of the 3 seasons prior to this moment. And we might be talking to our champion already here. Everybody's got the target painted on your back here, Bailey. So what's it going to take to seal the deal and get this championship for season 4?
Yeah, it's never over till it's over. I've been in this position before, maybe not with, the big points buffer and,
but it's close.
Everything like that. But, I've been a regular season champ 1 or 2 other times in other leagues, but playoff time comes and, somebody like Jeff, he's so good and he's going to figure this out. And, you got Sturgill there every week, and, with a little bit less bad luck, he'd be right up there with me as well. And, if Adam Cabot makes the playoffs, he is still a notch above, in my opinion, with, overall, like 1.5 miles and stuff like that. So, it's not over till it's over. We're going to have to keep working at it. And, just going to keep this patient aggressiveness going into each week, and, and try not to make any enemies, and keep this thing up front.
Patient aggressiveness. I believe they call that hurry up, but take your time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we have Kansas next week here, and I know that everybody's looking forward to some of those cookie cutter racetracks with Kansas, Charlotte, and Bristol, and then we go to chase time. But Bailey Turner, you are Victoria's 5th time here in season number 4, adding yourself to a deep list of drivers overall. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, shout out to Adam, of course. The only teammate we had over there tonight. We're missing AJ and Angelo, but still a good night overall. Thanks to the admins, of course, putting this together. You guys up in the booth every week. It's kind of weird not hearing Connor Horn up here this week, so hope he had a good time over there at the Xfinity race today. And of course, I would say, of course, shout out to all the sponsors, like we said. We appreciate everything everybody does to kind of contribute to this and put us out here each Saturday night.
Bailey Turner, 5-time victor here, season number 4. Congratulations. We'll see you next week at Kansas. Well, Logan, I got to say, that was one of those races. Wasn't quite as dramatic as what we saw there at Iowa Speedway, but it was eventful to say the least. And even with that, Adam Cabot finds his way back into the top 5. At the end of this thing, we get to talk to Kenny Kibbe for the first time. And Jeff Wright, progressively, like he does in every other car, finds his way into the top 3 when it matters most.
It's one of those things, too, that this is going to be one of those races that a lot of these drivers want to forget. A lot of cautions here tonight. Didn't ever really get a good opportunity to see a nice, long green flag run. I think we had about 1.5 of those all night long. But ultimately, you're going to have some of those drivers here like Bailey Turner marking down number 5 on the season, who had this race circled on the schedule, came in, did exactly what he needed to do, comes out with a victory here, and a whole lot of momentum starting to build back up for the 24 machine going late into the regular season.
You can catch us next week on April 26th at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time for action at Indy. Indianapolis, going to be another phenomenal show, and me and Logan Threlkout have both been at that racetrack at the same time, I think, most recently. So I look forward to that one as well, and I'll be out there on the racetrack. Logan, you've got the coverage here for this one. What do you expect?
I expect a good hard race. It's the Challenger Series has proven to be a staple on our Saturday nights now. We can continuously see some good hard racing, multiple driver wins throughout the season. So it's going to shake up to be a fantastic race next week, I think.
Again, you can catch that at 7:45. Make sure you turn on those alerts. Subscribe to VSPEED. You'll never miss a single race of Saturday Night Racing League, as we have the Challenger Series and the Cup Series all season long. For everybody here at VSPEED, Adam Baker in the background, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, our producers, and then Logan Threlkeld co-commentating, filling in for Connor Horn. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from New Hampshire. We'll see you next week at Indy and Kansas. Until then, stay tracking.